wanna put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways.
I'm about to drop some hugely powerful alpha. And that's what they call it. They call it alpha, believe me. Okay? And not many people know this, but alpha means that I know big things, strong things, powerful things. So here's the alpha, folks. If you want to be hugely rich like me, you got to join and subscribe to the BLEEVESCRYPTO YouTube channel. You got to become a member because many people say, quite frankly, it's the strongest YouTube channel out there. It's fantastic. It's the best. So let me know what you think, folks. Funny Donald Duck.
I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Lady, and I got my shine. Money in my pocket and we're feeling fine. Radio's loud and we're playing Sublime. I think it's gonna be a good day, my oh my. I can't believe I made it this far, it's a miracle. Floating in the clouds now, used to be miserable. Never looking back since I changed my ways. I'm on that good life tip today. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go there with me, girl. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Baby, we can have it all. We can make love out of waterfalls. I'm living that good life after all. Yeah. La da da da, good life, sitting by the fire. La da day, good life, feeling that breeze.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeves, and you are here for Breakfast with Bleeves. And if you don't think that we're in a bull run, or if you don't think that the bull run is getting ready to get started, or you don't know what's going on in Asia right now, then you're going to have to make like a tree and smell your own farts, because I don't know what to tell you. You're not paying attention to anything, and you don't know what you're talking about, and you're not gonna make it. Now, if you go past that and you say, wait a minute, please, what are you talking about? Why are you this, like, why are you on me so hard this morning? I just, yeah, I mean, I like to sniff my own farts. But obviously I do, because yeah, bouquet and all that. But why are you saying that there's a bull run? Why are you saying we're in the bull run? Why? Well, listen, it's getting ready to happen, right? We're already in the middle of it. That bottom that we saw already, that was the bottom. That was the bottom. Now, could we see another dip down below? Well, yeah, because we've still got a CME futures gap at around 19,900 with a bunch of orders that are going to need to be filled that did not get filled. And I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of close to a $2 billion that I assure you, market makers are going to be dipping this market at some point back down to 20,000 in order to fill those, because that few $1 billion right there is going to be needed in order to push this market forward, right? And that's the way that it works. So there's also, by the way, CME futures gaps in between 25 and 28,000 that are yet to be filled, because we haven't really gotten there yet. But guess what we're doing? We're consolidating right under 25,000 right now. And everybody has been, well, you're getting my shorts on and all of this kind of stuff. And guess what? They're wrong every single time. You know what's being popped like crazy right now? Shorts. Now, you're going to make a little bit on some plays. By the way, over the next couple of days, I am developing a chat GPT algorithm, a trading strategy, and I'm going to set up a trading strategy to see if I can take $1,000 and turn it into $1 million using only a bot trading strategy that I'm going to run on TradingView to see what happens. We're just going to run that bot. We're going to run the strategy in Pine Editor, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm going to go with the things that I think are important. And I'm learning it as I go right now, and I'm putting it together, and I'm going to make a video on it, and you guys will see. And if we take $1,000 and turn it into $1 million, then nice. If I don't, oh well, it was $1,000. But there are some things that have to be gone over as you're doing it that things I wouldn't even think about. I didn't even realize, but this thing is going to take $1,000 and it's going to play longs and shorts, and it's going to just be all about trying to move with the market and adapt as quickly as possible on all kinds of trades. And it'll be a no fee except entry and exit exchange that I'll be playing on, and it will be one that's fully backed with a proof of reserves, so that we know that it's not going to crash at any point. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out over the next couple days, but yeah, that's what I'm doing, wasting my time. So good morning, Richard Caldwell, Fez S in the house, MDK 420. Let's get this party volted. Volt is right at the center of a whole lot of things. Good morning, Believes. Any news about Lillian version 2? A V2 Lillian token has been announced. It's only a matter of time now before it launches and they get back to business. And listen, they still not back down from everything that they've said before, privately, publicly, in any way. They still believe everything is on, but there is a problem with their contract. They're going to have to fix. They're working on it. Good morning, Ben. Mark Kelly in the house. Jeff T. Good morning. Glenn Allen. BRL. What the fuck's going on with Jeets and NGN? Jeets do what Jeets do. I mean, that's how it works, man. That's the way this market is. There are people to get in, there are people to get out. It's always the way of it, right? What's going on, Hussein? Honda K24, what is up? Nicole Falk, good morning. Tony P in the house. BRL. Jay Manuel's in the house. Mike Osborne Helsing is in the house. Jay Volt's here. Jay Rich is volting. Dalton Wingirder just got back from your old state of Florida. Kansas sucks. Enough said. Absolutely, man. I tell you what, when I first moved to Florida, I went to Pompano Beach, and I sat down on Pompano Beach, and I said to myself, I'll never leave this place. This is too good to be true. And then 5 years later, I got promoted and transferred by a company, and God damn it. Oh, well. Richie's Plain Talk, good morning. Ken Valera's in the house. Daniel Volt's in the house. Kristen is here. What's been going on? Andres Ortiz in the house. Callum C. We got a whole bunch of people. Crypto Chronic in the house. Forsaken One's here. Defend. Ryan Lee. Husky is here. And we got Diggy in the house. You notice how my voice dropped when I said Diggy's in the house. Ugh. Carlos, good morning. All right, guys. So let's get into it as quickly as we can, because we got a lot to cover. There's a whole bunch going on. But I'm telling you right now, we are in the middle of a bull run. Or at the beginning of we're at the middle of the beginning of the bull run. How about that? Dow futures down 37.4, and then NASDAQ is up 10.75. We're going to toss that away, and we're going to skip a few things over here. First of all, this is what it looks like every single time that the bull run gets started. Now, this is not the definitive answer, and this can always this always kind of changes over time. So I wouldn't put too much into this, but you consider that this is the bottom right here, and then this is what happens, right? This is the bottom right here, and this is what happens. This is the bottom right here, and this is what's getting ready to happen. Okay. It always happens. It's always continued to happen. It's every 4 years. It's 2015. It's 2019. It's 2023. The 4-year cycle is up. Here we go. And look, this is how the whole thing plays out. Now, the one thing that I want to point out when we talk about this is I want to say that it is always entirely possible to say, well, the bull market started right here, and then it went a little bit sideways, and then it went crazy, right? Well, same thing over here. Like, it's entirely possible that this was the start right here, or maybe this was the start right here, and that we just the pump just comes in and it goes just absolutely out of its mind. It creates that bottom, or it creates that bottom, or it has at that moment where it creates that bottom, but it always happens, right? And it's doing the same thing every single time. So that's what's going on, and that's why I say that we are in the middle of something that's about to just erupt. Now, here's the other part. The other part is when you're looking at it, you don't know how this price action is going to be affected, right? You go from 245 to 7,000. The second time up, you go from 4,700 to 65,000. This time you're going from 26,000 to, I mean, Jesus Christ, where do you go from there, right? 180, 100. I don't know that that's the case. I do think that we're looking at a 5 trillion market cap on this next run up. So for me, that means that I believe we're going to do like 118,000 Bitcoin. So that's what I think is coming. Now let's move on to more information. Bitcoin's next bull will emerge from the east. Now, for those of you that are vaulted, you're going to know exactly what we're talking about right here, because the world is discovering this right now. Cryptocurrency industry has been longing for a bull market. The current state of Bitcoin is hinting towards one at the moment. The community, however, isn't entirely convinced. The bears are always going to be doing their shit, right? But it should be noted that this was expressed in light of the United States' lack of clarity around cryptocurrency. Clear rules and sincere guidelines will be left in the dust. So any government that doesn't offer clear rules and sincere guidance will be left in the dust. Now, this is just kind of laying the groundwork that the United States is about to miss out on the innovation. But here's the thing. Crypto doesn't care. Crypto doesn't care about your feelings. So there's absolutely nothing there's absolutely nothing that's going to stop cryptocurrency. The United States is going to try. Gary Gensler is going to try, but there's absolutely nothing. And listen, when it goes to the Supreme Court, this is about freedom, and there are enough libertarians that are on the Supreme Court right now, or at least conservatives with libertarian leaning principles that will allow freedom to take hold, and they will say that you're left to your own devices. So I have no worries about what is going to happen next with cryptocurrency in the United States. But here's the thing. China's central bank performed its single largest liquidity injection on Friday to help support their economy out of historically depressed levels. And there's more to come. China boasts the world's second largest economy and has recently expanded at a pace at around 2.2% faster than the U.S. The People's Bank of China was the world's third largest central bank with $6 trillion in assets and played a key role in global liquidity. While most analysts are focused on how the Fed tightening will reprice risk assets this cycle, they're failing to consider the scale of easing in the East. Japan plus China are injecting liquidity into global markets, easily outpacing the Fed tightening efforts. Thinking of global liquidity rather than the U.S. in isolation could prove to be more powerful when analyzing crypto markets. The Fed are tightening, but the world's third and fourth largest central banks are easing, actually causing an uptick in global liquidity. Crypto is not tied to any particular economy, but rather is a liquidity junkie. It longs for the risky, hungry investor to get cash and bet on the fastest horse. The makings of the economy recovery in China were evident when the zero COVID policy was abandoned in late 22. Lockdowns during 2022 derailed the expansive growth that's been so characteristic of China's economy in the 21st century. The end of this policy has helped lift demand and resume consumption. New Chinese bank loans hit a record 4.9 trillion yuan. Yen? Did we just say yen? Yuan? In January, a 23% increase year over year. So what we're seeing right now is it's all happening. And I don't need to go into all these additional details here, but this is what we're talking about right here. Okay, of course, not all the cash injected by the PBOC will end up in risk assets, but I bet that a decent portion of it will. Just like we saw from the West in 2020, heightened liquidity from central banks equals price of risk assets go up. So we're sitting here on the precipice of it happening. And then just after that, Hong Kong plans to lift the ban on retail crypto trading. So regulator is inviting industry experts to weigh in on new provisions for the crypto service provider in Hong Kong, relaxing the ban on trading for retail investors. It's happening. How big money is backing the Asian tiger to lead the crypto market recovery. And they're talking about it over here. It doesn't care. Nobody cares about what's going on with the Fed tightening everything up because the Asian markets are doing the absolute opposite. Now, let's take it one step further. Bitcoin's, it's called the pool multiplier, and the multiple hit 14-month high, and here's what it means. As pointed out by Crypto Quant, the pool multiple is an indicator that measures the ratio between the daily revenue of Bitcoin miners and the 365-day moving average of the same. When the value of this metric is greater than 1, it means that the miners are making more right now than the average for the past year. Now, last year was horrible, so you go up just by proxy, but that's just the start, right? If you continue to go up, then that's when it really gets interesting, right? So on the other hand, the multiple being below the threshold implies the mining revenues are less than the norm at the moment. Low enough values under this mark have historically been a sign that the cryptocurrency is undervalued. Now, here's a chart that shows the trend in the 7-day MA Bitcoin pool multiple over the past couple of years. As displayed in the above graph, the 7-day moving average Bitcoin pool multiple has been below the one mark during the past year or so, as the bear market has gripped the assets. With the latest rally in the coin's price, however, the indicator seems to have seen some rapid rise, and it's now broken out of the zone again. This is the first time in about 14 months. To see what this effect might have on the market, here is a chart that highlights how the indicators behaved. In the graph, the quant has marked the different levels that have been relevant to the 7-day MA in the Bitcoin pool multiple during the previous cycles. It looks like sustainable rallies have usually taken place whenever the metric has made a successful break above the 1 mark. When the indicator is below 1, some miners may have trouble running their operation, as the lower revenue may not pay costs of electric bills. Ta-da! So we're seeing that as well. Also, Bank of Russia to start testing digital ruble with real users on April the 1st. And that's not April Fool's, because they don't do that. Russians never kid. So that's going on. And here we go. A snap back to 20K. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. Bitcoin sees split opinions as major 25,000 resistance combines with early signs that all is not well with the Bitcoin price rally. So now you've got bears talking about the RSI's bearish divergence. And it's going to be healthy for Bitcoin to bring it down to 20,000. So that's why they're talking right now about it would not be a bad thing to pull it down to 20,000, because then it gets into the CME futures gap, which creates more investors and it adds more money, because you're going to be popping and getting some more investors who set up in that area that just didn't get a chance because Bitcoin, unfortunately, hasn't moved down into that area. So that's what's going on there. And then here, just so you guys can see this, because it just happened a few hours ago. Wales moved 384 million in Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum-based altcoins in the span of just 8 minutes. And they put them into unknown wallets. So in total, the 3 whales moved 300. This suggests that none of the crypto involved is on the verge of being sold in the open market. It's just being moved to different and fresh wallets. That is absolutely bonkers what we're seeing right now. This market, everything is primed just to absolutely get sent. So now let's go take a quick look over here and see what the market is doing. And what we can see the market is doing right now is Bitcoin is about to test 25,000 one more time. Ethereum is at 1708. Now, by the way, I think that I'm going to have to admit I'm probably wrong. I thought Ethereum was going to buy itself run up to about 2,000, 2,100. Just because the Ethereum, the next upgrade, Shanghai or Shankapella, as they're calling it now, was going to cause the market to run. And I'm wrong about that. There's no thirst for this Ethereum upgrade, because there's going to be people, sadly, who are going to end up selling, and it'll probably wreck the price. So I think people have decided that they're not really too excited about what's happening with Ethereum right now on this next upgrade. I think they expected to see just a little bit more. And since they're not getting it, now they're, being babies and being nervous about it. So we'll see how it plays out. But as you go down the list here, you can still see there's a little bit of red in the market, but very little. Litecoin, things that ran very hard are still kind of in the negative. Filecoin had that massive move. So it's still down a little bit in the 24. Lido just brought the stake. The Lido just announced the V2 staking, and people are super excited about that. But that, of course, that's big news. So it causes a sell-off. HBAR, big sell-off. Aptos, big sell-off. ICP, big sell-off. Graph, big sell-off. Everything else is starting to catch up to what was going on there. So, but you can see the swap over here. Now, the other thing is, when Bitcoin decides it's time to move, when Ethereum decides it's time to move, liquidity is going to get sucked out of all of these, which, by the way, number 100 at this point, for those of you vaulting, is 428 million right now. So to get into the top 100, we're going to need to be at about the 450 million level in the next 9 days for that big move for that big February move on Volt. So if that happens, and by the way, one listing on one gigantic exchange or 2 listings on 2 gigantic exchanges, that's going to do it, right? That's going to move that thing up into the 500,000 market cap or a 500 million market cap, and it's just going to go out of its mind. So there we are with that. But you know what? I forgot. We should probably point this out because it's happening right now. 1.13 trillion in the market and $71.7 billion. This is what I'm talking about when I say that this Asian market over here is not playing around anymore. There is a lot of volume being traded. Remember, guys, we've talked multiple times about 35 billion, 40 billion, 44 billion, 45 billion, way less than 50 billion being traded on Sundays because it's just not a big day and leading into Mondays. And here we are with almost $72 billion. We haven't seen numbers like that in a long time. So, the thirst is starting to ramp up. Now, let's go look at Bitcoin. You see here, by the way, if you haven't watched, you can see my Bitcoin content and my argument basically for we're going to 51,000, which I know, look, nobody's gonna agree with me when I say that Bitcoin's going to 51,000, except the other people who are doing chart analysis and looking at Bitcoin and who are saying like, oh my God, look, this is the way that it looks, right? And there's plenty of, I gotta turn my strategy off here. It's still a process, by the way. That strategy is not active. So even though it's showing up on the chart, it's not active yet. That's just running in test mode. But I said that this bottoming wick right here was going to lead to a big move to the upside. And what do we see? We're seeing a big move to the upside. That's matching exactly what I'm saying right now. We're at 24,938. It looks like the run to 25,000 is happening as we speak, because over the last couple of hours, we've been, let's do a 15 minutes so that we can see it. You can see right here, we made this kind of move right here up through 3 o'clock. Then we had the big move. Now we're consolidating, and now we've started that next move to the upside right now. So as long as the money keeps coming in, as long as we start to see that, and as long as we test that 1.13 number on the overall, let's see, I don't know if I've crossed it off over here or not, but yeah, so we've got it up here on the chart here. 1.13 that's the liquidity number that we're really looking to get into this market, because that represents over here, and we can't do, Jesus Christ, we can't do that on that one. But that represents this right here. This represents that the merge number. So that merge number, and this is right in the middle of what was going on with Bitcoin, and it's Celsius and 3 arrows. So this is kind of a resistance number that we're looking to bust through. And if we can bust through that one, then it's on to 1.33 trillion. If we're doing 1.33 trillion, then we're going up to 40,000. There's 40,471. And my argument was 51,000, but my actual number was 48,000. And that was because there's just a gigantic amount of movement and resistance, like right in this area. Like if you look, like I don't see how the market does this and gets beyond that for sure. I mean, look, it can pop up, but as you can see right here, this level right here is the most contested level at the top for Bitcoin right now. So 48,161 kind of represents, you hear people talking about 48,000 along the way. 48,000 is just representative of this massive sort of fight that was raging in crypto for a long period of time. You can see this. These are day charts, so this is just extended periods of fighting right in that area. So that being said, here we are right now. You're seeing again the capital continues to move. Here we go. The money is coming into the market as we speak. Now, the question is, how does the Dow react? We got 4 minutes before the Dow launches, and the crypto pre-market is looking like it's just kind of standing, just kind of standing there waiting to see what happens. But this market is set to soar, and Ethereum is pumping. Crow is pumping, by the way. Crow is up 5.5%, by the way. It's finally, look, it's been a little bit of time. of course, but we got over the 50-day EMA. We tested the SMA. We tested the 50-day SMA on this just recently, right around Valentine's Day, right there. And since then, it's started to pump its way back up. Now, if you remember, and if you follow my content for Crow, then you know that I was kind of bullish about this channel here, with the yellow and the blue lines over here, saying that this is kind of representative of where it should be going. And what it ended up doing is pumping up back into this channel, bringing the 50-day SMA right here. And then, oh shit, the market's closed. It's President's Day. We got this right here. So we've used this as support twice now. So this line, we're back into it, and we're back to holding support. So, and we're also, remember, this 8.37 was my number, where I said, like, this is going to be kind of a resistance point. Like, maybe, it'd be nice to be able to use this as support to try to push its way up into 9.5 to 10 cents. But so we'll see how this plays out over the next little while. So we don't have to worry about the opening of the markets, because who's the president that is it Lincoln? Is that why it's President's Day? Oh, it's Washington and Lincoln and the mattress sales. Yeah, that's what's happening. So, guys, if you don't have a mattress, get yourself a mattress right now. They're on sale. So the crypto market looks like it's ready to soar. I mean, look, we've had tests here, and I keep telling you guys, this golden pocket, once we get in here, we're going to start popping. There's going to be CME futures that are going to be sitting in here where people are going to be taking positions because they feel like this is the move. But you've got the test here. You've got the test here. You've got the test here. You've got the test coming right here. It's going to have to push in here, and we're going to have to use this as support if we want to make that move. Now, if we don't, by the way, you got to consider that there's always the possibility that this doesn't work out, right? And if that doesn't work out, then we've got a long way to go down. So I guess we should talk about that and prepare for what would happen if we go down. Well, the most likely culprit here is this thing would be moving along this way, and we would probably come to this level, test 24.29, break down on that in 23.8. Now, the best thing that would happen is if it were going slowly, then maybe we can use the 200 SMA, ride it for a little while, and make our way back up for that fifth and final test. And I say fifth and final, but it's really not going to be the fifth and final. But there is that possibility that the bullish sentiment is not going to be there to push it up through this area, because you have to consider that there are so many shorts that are sitting out there right now. How many people are out here fighting, and I mean fighting, to make sure that this does not get fulfilled? This area right here is a danger zone for bears. So if something were to happen and we get into this area as longs, then it's going to pop more longs and people investing in it. It's going to wreck the shorts that are sitting here that got in right here thinking that we're going down, or even some of them that we got in that got, because that's kind of close, right? 23. So you want to say 23 to maybe 25 something. So right in this area right here, you have all these potential shorts that are just kind of laying out there right now, sitting in this little window right here. If we get enough capital pumping this market that gets in here, then you're going to start seeing buy orders being filled. You're going to start seeing shorts being wrecked. You're going to see just a crazy amount of shit happen all at one time. Now we got to do at LIQS. You want to see the liquidations rush, and I'll show you, like right now, not a whole lot happening because we're consolidating, so you're not really seeing it. But just a little while ago, short liquidation, short liquidation, short liquidation. There was a long liquidation over here, a long liquidation over here, and you can see that was about 2 hours ago, and that was on the chart. You can see that little red right there. There were just a little. There were a couple of them that were liquidated along the way, and then you go back to shorts. There was way too much in short liquidations. As you keep flipping through here, you just see short after short after short being liquidated. So if we can get our way into that little pocket and we can make that play, then something big is going to happen. So that's what we're looking at. So let's move on over here. Volt. Volt is at 2059. Within the next couple of days, here it was. This was Voltoshi. His statement was that they're going to hit the all-time high by February, right? Or he's going to give $30,000 to David Gokhshtein. And if not, then David Gokhshtein had to use a Volted Dragon Sailors Club Dragon NFT for a month. So we don't know how this plays out yet, but we do know that there's going to be a winner, right? Well, Voltoshi is feeling super good about it, right? Voltoshi is having an absolute banger of a time, pointing out we're almost at 62,000 holders. Volt is coming to Bermuda Privacy DApp. Why are we volting in China? And he even points out because China is where the money is coming from right now. There's over 10,199 members in the Volt Inu Chinese community already. And we're continuing to add holders. If you go look at the holder rate, you can see that it's way, way, way up. And then you can see right here, looking at the column before the voltage, be like, when you got 9 days left for something that can eventually be done in a few hours. The whole idea here being, let's like that. The whole idea being that all you're doing is just waiting for that moment right now, where Volt is just kind of coiling up and waiting for just one moment where there's an announcement or something that's going to just pump through the roof. And I think don't bet against Voltoshi, because every time you bet against Voltoshi, you're wrong. But did David Gokhshtein accepted the deal if he loses? So you'll see. He'll do it because he wants to be part. He wants to be part of. Look, David Gokhshtein knows what side his bread is buttered on, and he knows that this community supports him, and he will support this community. So I am not worried about what David Gokhshtein is going to do. He'll be part of it. But let's go over here. CMOS. This is CoinMerge. CoinMerge is consolidating right here. I just kind of drew a line over here saying that this is probably what was going to happen. I can't believe they actually followed it. Jesus Christ to the T. Ain't that a bitch? Bone is at $1.69. Still moving to that upside, still making new ground. By the way, so we did have an update from Shytoshi. The update from Shytoshi was that in the next, let's get DeFi, altcoins. There we go. All right, so the lead developer of Shiba Swap, Shytoshi Kasama, published a second blog on Shibarium on Monday. A series of 4 or 5 blogs are expected to go out before the Shibarium public testnet. But what he said that the next one after this will be the launch of the beta. So any moment now, we should start to see something happening with Shibarium. So if you have not already, this is that moment where you should probably have yourself some bone, where you should probably have yourself some SHIB, where you should probably just kind of be sitting back and waiting for that moment. Moving on to BRL, $1.50. Wiz Protocol. I've got some Wiz Protocol. I've got some content coming out for Wiz Protocol pretty soon, trading at 41.54. Market cap, minimal market cap over here, 393,000. But you can see right here, this is actually kind of cool. It's the Ethereum logo with a wizard hat right here. It's Pulse Chain related, so it's not going to do very much on the Ethereum side until Pulse Chain is actually announced. But you can see the contract, the Twitter, the Telegram, and all the stuff that you need to do. And instead of a white paper, it's called a purple paper, but we're going to get into that a little bit later on. This is we'll get to that a little bit later. But it's trading at 41.24, and SHIB 13.59, Hulk 36.15. MMAI 4042, Lillian 6382, Kado 1384, Terrarium 3251. Still waiting for Terrarium to get on a run. It's got to be fairly soon, right? Here's the thing. This down here was everybody waiting to see what was going to happen with the payroll and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, it never happened. It never materialized. So there was never any reason to have a problem, so to speak. And that meant that this E1L, the EL1B4 put money back in, and that was the last interaction, was when they put the money back in, which means that they're not doing it anymore, which now means that this is starting to happen. Now you're starting to see a pump and you're seeing a consolidation, and that would indicate that you're probably going to be testing, because you're back up here at this local top and you've had a crossover on this golden cross, and the money flow, by the way, is back moving to the green. So you're probably going to see a little bit of money start to come back in. I remember in 3 days, you're going to see the launch of the American trading, the American trading platform for Terrarium. You'll be able to do that, and that's a significant deal. There are very few centralized exchanges trading in America, so it's going to happen. So we'll see what plays out. Saitama trading at 27.13. Wagmi is at 55.28. Guys, we finally saw the breakout that I've been talking about for so long with Wagmi gains above that line I gave you, the 42 line. We saw that breakout the other day. You might have seen me and Costas bantering back and forth about it, knowing that it's finally here. We're starting to see that move. And then you got to be happy when you see the consolidation that's happening, and you're seeing it happening right here, and it's moving upwards still. That move still seems to be moving to the positive, still seems to be just kind of pushing its way. So, hopefully we can get to the 63, which is a point, by the way, of resistance back here a little ways back. Not significant. As you can see right here, just going to represent, because we're consolidating right where the last resistance was, right? So this is the all-time high for the version 2 launch. Excuse me. Version 2 launch. And that means 6306 is the all-time high. So there'll be some fighting at the all-time high. Again, for version 2, about profit taking, et cetera, et cetera. But I have a feeling, I have a feeling that we're about to see 100 million market cap and about an 8x on this, at least, because it's about to launch, and they're keeping it secret and they're keeping it tight to the vest at this point. But I think that we're about to see something happen. We've been waiting for it. We've been looking for it, and I think it's about to happen. Now, of course, if this thing runs super hot, and we're at 12 million market cap right now, and my bag is 1.45, so it would have to do, I don't know. That's I probably won't sell. I don't even have a cause to sell at this point. If it 10x'd, that's not really enough to make a play on, because look, we're not in the bull market. So if that's the case, then what I'd be looking at, how would I be approaching this? If it 10x's from where it is right now, that's 14.5 ETH. Maybe I would take out 1 or 2 ETH. Maybe something like that. But I still think that this is going to run to $500 million, and that's about 40x from where it is right now. So if there were 40x from here, then that would be, 56 ETH, right? And then maybe you take 10 ETH out or something like that, and still run with it, or something along those lines. But it's also important to point out that I still have 3 Wagmi Genesis NFTs. So if it's doing $500 million market cap, then that means that I'm going to be pulling in significant revenue from those NFTs, because if you hold a Genesis NFT and there's only 3,022, then you get to share in the revenue that's being generated from their marketplace. And that being said, that is a significant source of revenue every single month. And I think that I don't know if Wagmi has reminded people in the last little while, but Wagmi, but they used to have a chart that would show you exactly what you could earn. And it goes probably a little too far back for me to find, but they showed you how much that you could make depending on how much the revenue was. And like, it's absolutely worth holding on to these. And I should also point out that in the last couple days, the minimum price, I get offers for my Wagmi NFTs all the time, and they're usually in the $400 or $500 or $600 range. They're up to $850 as of last night, I want to say. Wagmi NFTs. So I have 3 offers for $935 for each one of my Wagmi NFTs right now. So I'm being offered 5.5 Ethereum for each one of them. So the FOMO is absolutely kicking in at this point, and there is a lot going on with Wagmi. There's a little bit of a FOMO being created. So, but again, listen, if you bought them for, like, I think I bought mine for $750 each. Like, it is not unheard of in the first month, if it has a good run, and I know I'm still searching for it, but it's not unheard of for you to make your money back in that first month. That's how potentially valuable these things might end up being, just because of the potential amount of revenue that can be generated here. So Genesis NFT holders, now I guess I'm not going to find it, but it's back here somewhere. And like, I think at 1%, which I think is the revenue share, you're being shared 3,022 different ways, because there's 3,022 NFTs. And I think that if it does like 100 million in revenue, they pull back 10% or 10 million, and that 10 million gets split 3,022 ways. Think about the amount of potential money that you have, and just splitting something up that way. That is absolutely redonkulous, as they say. Yeah, they don't have it. So I'm tired of scrolling now. My finger hurts from scrolling. Anyway, let's get back here. NGN is trading at $1. I'm still up 50x, so I'm not really concerned. There was a big sell-off over here. Hey, and by the way, I feel 100% vindicated. I made a joke, by the way, about who it was that was selling off, right? And I'm not going to name them now. But I made a joke about who was selling off because of the timing and stuff like that. And then they were like, it wasn't us. You're out of your goddamn mind. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. And guess what? I was 100% right. So, yeah. But anyway, so, and it was just, it's like 1 or 2 people. So, and people are allowed to take their profit. Like, I'm not really worried about it because, every dip gets bought up. So no big deal, right? BCB trading at 99.50 had another big sell down after it pumped again, which it continues to do, by the way. Continues to have this run up to like 1,400, and then it pumps back down into this. Look, if it comes down here again, like that was 100% pump, by the way. And guys, I keep telling you, if it comes down into a certain range and it runs, that's 97%. In 3 days ago, if you had 1 week ago, if you had gotten into this at 72 or 73 over here, you'd be up 97% on your investment in very short order. Like, I'm not playing around when I'm talking about this BCB and how it tends to run. Now, the one thing that you do want to point out is that it's moving like, and I don't want to consider this blow off top here. That would be a different sort of line. But I want to look like settled here, settled here, settled here, settled here. So, this is probably the move right now until we get like a good bull run, until we start getting some stuff going. But if this thing comes down and it goes into that 7,000 range again, it is heading back up to 1,200. And if it goes to 1,200, then from here, you're looking at a 70% lift off of that. So I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that that's the way it plays out, and that's what it looks like. So that being said, you do your own research and you figure it out for yourself. Decanect is at 9 cents right now, exactly 9 cents. Same thing over here. You know, really just having sell down and buy, sell down and buy, sell down and buy. Listed on 4 exchanges now, so you're seeing that volume thing kind of move back and forth and back and forth. And then Floki, like I told you, we're going to talk about that at some point very soon. Terra V2, because they took a vote on Terra V2 and 90% of people said no to a V2, and they just ignored the people, and they're going to a V2 anyway. So that's like they are not getting it. They're just not getting it. And by the way, Bitcoin did just pump over 25,000, and now we've got a little bit more sell down happening very rapidly, but the money and the capital is going into Bitcoin. Let's see if this position holds over the next little while. But here we are, where I said we were going to be. By the way, if you guys follow me on this, I said that, you know, if you get down in this 33 range, somewhere like that, then that's going to be the buy zone, right? Well, we're in the buy zone. We've actually hit the tip of the buy zone here. So if you want to get back into Floki, if you're out of Floki, then there's some opportunity right now to get back in. But for me, I'm not getting in until I see that 35 again, maybe. And then I'm going to look at it and I'm going to do some candle staring and see if that's the way that it's going to be for the long term, right? Like, because if it continues to stair step down and it continues to do this, then, you know, keep riding it all the way down, because look, when it pumps, right? I mean, we got to go back here and we got to look at that day chart. And I mean, Floki ran 800%, right? From here up, Floki ran 1,000%, so 10x'd. So, I mean, goddamn, woo! And Bitcoin is pumping itself back up again. They are look, guys. This is what I'm talking about. I really think that we're in this situation right now in which the bulls are desperately trying to get into this area, and they got to get into 25.5, 25.6, I'm sure, to start popping some of this stuff. But that's what they're working on right now. Anyway, that's my time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is not financial advice. My name is Believes. I am always right. I do think that this is the big move today. This is the big play today. Everybody's taking a day off, and when you have a whole bunch of people taking a day off, then you might have a bunch of people who are not actively trying to bear out this market, and maybe, just maybe, the bulls can get a run. But that's just wishful thinking. It's going to be about putting the capital into it right now, but that does mean that you will see capital coming out of risk assets as people start to protect the Bitcoin price. So anyway, I will see you guys again tonight at 8 p.m. And we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining